never seen the prince of a liar. I have never seen a body burning in a fire. My teacher told me that because I'm black and minor, though I know how to drive, I will never be the driver, baby. Now I'm sipping Nini in the Hamptons, baby being bougie with T-Pain up in Wisconsin. Stole the fire in a pins and then I reapplied her. Now the flame will forever be lit up in designer, baby. Pearls and rubies will never do. Gold round my neck like I'm 2 Chainz. Diamonds all in my tooth, that's how we do. Cause every flower doesn't bloom. Securing the bag is our deal. What I would do, to get to the Henny and the Hamptons. Hey, yeah, to get to the Henny and the Hamptons. Hey, to get to the Henny and the Hamptons. Yeah, yeah, to get to the Henny and the Hamptons. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Yeah, we are back. We are here in full effect. Wonderful, wonderful to be here. Oh, man. It's a good day.
Yes, sir.
Good day. We're going to start this off right. Ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, haters of all ages, welcome to the UDK podcast. I'm your host, Jay Easy. To my left.
Hex.
To my right.
KG from DC.
In the middle.
Irv.
And in the building, as always.
Jay Titter.
Oh, man. It's wonderful to see y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. It's wonderful to be around y'all. Great week. Wonderful day.
Right.
Weather's been nice.
Slow
yeah.
down.
Yeah. Weather's maybe not today.
We was due. We was
due for a crazy day. Wellness check. Hex, how you feeling?
Man, I'm super duper good.
Talk about it.
Man, had an outstanding week. Like I tell you, a new situation going on, worked out, and it's working out. Great people, and love the purpose, and then I got my nephew.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Shout out to my nephew, graduating from North Carolina A&T State University.
Aggie Pride.
Today. So I did an up and back.
But graduated with
And I appreciate y'all.
with-
Thank you.
with
Giving us an
honors.
extra day to do it.
with honors. He ain't just walk across the stage.
Right,
He
right.
brought some honors.
Oh,
come on, man.
come on, man.
Come on, dog.
Brought the honors with it.
Ain't no 1.7.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he didn't thank you, Lordy. He put the work in, got his fun in, got his homies, got his whole little crew.
Yeah.
He got, real dude, man, and to see him as this baby, you know what I'm saying? He made me an uncle. You know what I'm saying? So because of you know what I'm saying, you my dog.
Yeah.
And to see who he's become, just got a job interview, last Friday for up this area because he's trying to come back home. And so I'm just finding he got a lot going on. I'm just so proud of him.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Yeah.
That's dope.
Absolutely. Irv, how you feeling?
I'm good, bro. My man over here inspiring me.
You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go back to school to study something. I got to get
excited about what's going on. I'm happy for him, happy for the fam. I'm good, bro. I'm ready to roll.
Absolutely. KG, how you feeling?
I'm doing all right. Sick of all these stories that we got to cover. I'll tell you that.
Man.
Looking for some new directions and some of that. But, other than that, I'm all right. I ain't getting ready to pop.
Absolutely. I was waiting for that. JR, how you feeling?
Hey, just following up on what KG's saying, and just, it's unfortunate we have to deliver some of these stories, but if not us, then who?
Exactly.
Why not us?
Somebody got to speak on it.
Somebody has to speak on it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm having a good week. Week of transition and adjustment.
Okay.
Trying to, find my balance, and sometimes when you get blessings, you ask for things in life, and then when you get it, it's a whole lot. You get a lot at one time. It's like, whoa, okay, what? Your cup runneth over.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So you have to just maintain and just understand how blessed you are. Stay humble. Stay thankful. And that's the key.
Everybody is a rookie at some point in
There you
time.
go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Oh man. So first topic. Speaking of transitioning and moving into other things, we were speaking last week as a continuation of the CNN situation. There was a town hall with Republican front runner for the nomination, Donald Trump. I'm not calling him 45 because I'm gonna say him by his name.
Right.
they had a town hall with him, and just real quick, I just want to get y'all thoughts first. How did y'all think it go? Do you think was it as bad as you thought it was going to be, or worse than you thought it was going to be? Hex, how do you feel?
Did I think it was as bad as I thought it would be? I didn't know the parameters to begin with. So when you say bad, is it a matter of the response the audience gave, his behavior alone, him still lying? I would say it was to be expected, and he just became a calmer, more insulting individual. It's like someone just taught him how to polish up his screaming, right, and be even nastier with his tongue. And so when you add that to his arrogance and not recognizing how wonderful our country is and how you're choosing to play a game that benefits you. This is a game of one, right? You win, and whatever everyone else gets, well, America runs itself. It has nothing to do with him. That's I'm sure he's looking at. And unfortunately, giving him that window to speak gave some other cuckoo a chance to say, I get it, right? And it's not because, and that's what I was telling somebody this weekend. We have to agree at some point in time, there are certain things that aren't just like my opinion versus your opinion. They are the actual fact. That has to come into play. If we don't have that one little nuance, then nothing actually will matter. It's all up for grabs. Yeah. But the impact of him being on CNN is people thinking, well, they gave him room. Maybe he's changed, right? You know, and then what happens is, because and I'm gonna say I don't fall victim to this, but I made some comments recently that said there's some things that he says that I completely agree with, but it's different things, right? And it's not the extreme; it's the things we all agree on. Right. He just doesn't realize, hey, you do have a couple of suggestions, fool. We all, yeah. Sure. Yep, I'm right there with you.
Broken clock twice a day. Something?
Twice a day. Yeah. So I'm with you on that and that without a doubt. It's just that you don't know how to say what you're trying to say, and he needs a PR guy to try and polish up his brashness or his arrogance that really, at the end of the day, makes other people decide they can be just as brash. And that's created a temperament, and that's why it's so dangerous for him to speak again.
Yeah. Dangerous, yeah.
I thought everybody got what they wanted out of it. I mean, first of all, it's. I get that CNN is trying to turn this new leaf, apparently, and show both sides of the coin. But my thing is, and of course, he is taking advantage of the opportunity to be platformed. I mean, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, if it's publicity and he believes himself to be a star, he's all for it. So, especially on home turf, so to speak, when you got a Republican crowd that's there to, and as you pointed out before we got on the pod, that's already been told that they can't boo to begin with. But still, the reaction of a lot of those people, especially when they cheered his comments about the sexual assault on the lady. Classless, probably worse than that.
Yeah.
My issue is at the end of the day, you're platforming a criminal. I can't get past that part, bro. This man belongs in jail. He doesn't belong on anybody's stage. And I get, like I said last week, it is newsworthy. This man is the Republican frontrunner, which is a shame in itself, bro. It speaks about our country and where we are as a country that this guy could be anybody's front runner to run our country and be the leader of the free world, no less.
Yeah.
On his second audition.
Yeah.
Under several indictments right now.
Right. Yeah. I'm in trouble, showed you who I am, showed you what I say, and I get the group that's willing to rock with him. We always, 100 episodes ago, we said, there's a group that's going to rock with him no matter what. So we're not playing cuckoo by having the dialogue. We're having the dialogue because this is present-day conversation as to what's actually happening.
Yep. KG.
So a couple of things. For one, he is a criminal, but I don't have a problem with listening to criminals. Some of them are very talented and sing very good songs. His thing, the thing about him is just that he's dangerous, and beyond that, it was like a culmination of things in the week, because there were two people who got platforms to speak who did this. He and Ebony K. Williams both came out and said very stupid things in a way that excited their crowds and marginalized the majority of people out there.
There you go.
So for her, it was something mostly trivial and well-intended but very stupid. For Trump, it's extremely dangerous. And when you have people not just cheering but laughing along with a sexual abuse victim, I think that's with the pain of a sexual abuse victim and wanting to put this person into more power again, even though he failed his job the first time, which is why he wasn't brought back. It's demoralizing, it's disrespectful, it's a sad representation of a country that can be great, but is striving so hard to keep itself at bay from greatness just to be more excited and more hurt and more angry. And maybe that's just a place we need to be right now, because maybe we need that fork in the road in order to turn whatever we want to be into. Because the worst thing from religious standpoint, from playing on a team standpoint, is just being middle of the road. The worst thing you can be is 8-8. The worst thing you can be is
Mediocre.
Average is not the right thing. It's the milquetoast of the thing. It's the thing that doesn't inspire and doesn't hurt, and that's where America's kind of been. Except we just happen to have more bombs than everybody else, and we haven't really strived to be better than that in a long time.
Well, as they say,
maybe
if you don't grow, you know what I'm saying, then you will reflect back and repress to go back to where your last step.
Yep.
You're as good as your last step. So, is no one who doesn't work on their shot becomes a better shooter.
Facts.
And no one who doesn't work on trying to make better decisions become a better leader. But there's also this game being played where we don't really have a true structure that says, if you don't do what you're supposed to do on behalf of the country, this is what happens to you. If you lie about what you've done that doesn't actually help the country, that's an actual crime, and you're going to have to be held accountable for that. Like, we're not, somehow they're getting us all to decide, well, they said there's nothing they could do, so we're all, that's why I do get sometimes the concept when people are saying, like, I'm numb from this, because it's like, well, and I understand we're just now getting to the point where we're even prosecuting for crimes, right? So I want to keep that on the forefront as well. Like, I'm not getting lost from that point, because that's always been my point, but being held accountable for that. But the numbness becomes we always talk about this. He did what?
But that's part of his game. That's part of his game is to continue to barrage you with things and lies.
If I keep saying it over and over again,
and
it must be true.
And I expect you to stop.
And I have media outlets who will support that at all times. And I think at this point, CNN, what they're doing is, I think CNN is becoming like Fox Soft, Fox Plus.
Well, I think it's
Fox News South.
I'm gonna get it. JR.
What I took away from it, the one thing it was a couple of things that stuck with me. One of the main things that stuck away with me is he's still saying kind of that same thing he said in Charlottesville. There was good people there, okay, and there were people who were heartfelt Americans. I can't remember exactly how he said it, but people who had good intentions that day. And I just think about the law enforcement that were brutally beaten and kicked. What about that was good?
Yeah, January 6th.
I look back this week, and again, I go back, and I'm going to touch a lot of chords and everything, but I go back, I was looking at something last week from 1979 against 80, Tehran, and when Tehran, Iran, when they took the hostages, and they held Americans over there, and how outraged Americans were to see that kind of hostility to our own people, to our country. I don't understand how you don't feel the same hostility to what happened on that January 6th date.
Speak on it.
I just don't understand. I know why, and you're going to talk about who did it and who it. But is it not worse for people who are in your country to actually perform these kind of acts when they should actually? I mean, Tehran has no love for us. They don't have to have any love for us. But why the hell would you say that these people are patriots who actually went in there to kill elected officials? They went in there to murder elected officials. And there's no other way to put that. And for him to actually, with a straight face, as Irv would always say, with a straight face tell us that these are good people with good intentions.
I have an answer for you. You ever seen like a tremendous movie or something major that happened in history, and then people try to make menial things equivalent to it? Well, America's gotten bored with what it is, and there are lots of people who believe that they would love to be a part of something major, something revolutionary.
Some grand,
And this is not a revolution.
And that's a sense
and,
of being
and they would
validated.
love to be on the same level of how they perceive our first president, President Washington, and the revolution of changing the country and therefore changing the world and reshaping it into what it is they want it to look like. Right. And these people see themselves as part of that revolution. Now, they are minuscule in number, they are very loud, and they are to be taken seriously, but just not in terms of as an equal force to be argued with. But they are to be taken seriously, and that's what hopefully our justice system is doing right now.
I want to piggyback off what KG said about answering your question. There's a senator named Tommy Tuberville that is one of Trump's closest allies, right? This week, he not only said that when they were talking about January 6th, he said he doesn't see white nationalists, he sees Americans, right? This is one of Trump's closest allies. So if that's coming out of his mouth, and he doubled down on that this week, that's to me, that's the same thinking that 45 has. My problem with that is the same way that you could try to say that those people are Americans. Why weren't the Black Lives Matters people and the people that when the people represented protesting that represent all of America and its multiculturalness were outside? Those people didn't look like Americans to him.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
For personally, the whole debacle of this town hall was especially frightening. It was worse than what I thought it would be. The lies and the hate and the ignorance spewed from Trump wasn't the thing that really moved me. It didn't jar me as much as CNN's, I guess, lack of response or lack of I guess being able to
Enabling.
Yes, it was enabling. The way that what was her name? Caitlin Collins. The way that she was asking him questions, questions that she was asking him, I felt like it was LeBron versus like a G League player. It was like, are you really going to ask him that? Are you not going to follow up? So you're going to say that, but then you're not going to give examples. Like you don't. What am I looking at?
It was Jason Kidd for the Nets. Alley oops everywhere. What you need? I got you.
Beat. I mean, and I'm not. And this is not literal, but in terms of interviewing, I mean, he was beating her ass
because she has never done this.
Yeah, this was her
if
first
you remember,
time
Caitlin Collins used to be sitting with the
she was the White House correspondent
with the overcoat in the front yard, talking to Don.
Yeah,
right, relaying back information that she wrote down on those note cards. For her to sit there with note cards, it's because you're not polished. These questions. Now I can understand a note card because you got everything. You got your bullet points. This is how important this is. But no. Barbie doll, number one, no backbone, no background, not for live journalism,
right?
Not for live discussion, as though you expect this man, who was the president of the United States of America, to speak back to you as though this is Oprah.
Yeah, and it was one part where she kept asking him, like, will you acknowledge that it was not a rigged election, and will you acknowledge that you lost? And I'm sitting there looking at her like, what are you doing? Why are you asking him to go reverse course on some shit that he's been saying? He said this in the first 30 seconds. The first 30 seconds he was able to talk, he was talking about how it was a rigged election and how it was terrible for America. And then after that, you were like, well, will you just acknowledge that this was a fair election?
But I will say,
No, he will not.
I will say this: halfway through, I was kind of rooting for him to run over her like a truck, the way he did. And the reason why I say that, because if you don't believe it, you better believe it. This is the guy.
Yeah.
Okay. If you thought you were going to come out here and wiggle around it, that's where I kind of was rooting for Trump in
There
that
you
sense.
go.
Crush him. I was saying crush him.
If that's what they're going to do.
So that everybody knows who you are. You don't tiptoe with this guy. You don't play the tiptoe burglar with this guy. If you're going to come in, you better bring it.
You better.
Because this guy is for real. And I wanted everybody to understand that. So when I say I was rooting for him, if you're going to go out halfway, I want you to get crushed. Retool, come back, whichever way y'all are coming back, if you can come back from this. That's what
I'm just curious. I mean, I don't understand what y'all's expectations.
Right,
are.
that's what
maybe
I'm
that's
confused.
what
No.
I'm confused on, because how do any whoever the journalist is, if you're sitting and asking somebody questions and you know that they're lying, you ask them a question, they lie to you, you try to fact check them, and they continue to lie, and then go on to another lie that doesn't have anything to do with the fact check. You're caught in the matrix, basically. So
But there's
a no-win situation, especially when, like you said, when he's talking over top of you and not giving you the space to even ask or finish any questions. Basically, he owned her. Don't get me wrong, and it wasn't a good look for her. But I don't care how many years that you had on you. If it would have been a handy interview, it would have been a softball. If it would have been any other liberal interviewing it, I think the outcome would essentially have been the same.
It was just because she wasn't polished.
Yes.
They didn't have a distinguished, polished journalist ask the question.
And you don't throw her in front of him.
No.
Diane
But
Sawyer,
you don't throw
someone
her
who's
in
done
front of
this.
All right, but hold on. I
tell me
think
that his
we're.
people-
That's what I'm trying. That's what
you
I'm.
don't break your
Irv's about to
teeth
say
on-
exactly what I'm saying. The whole point is, but when you walked up to the game and you were like, oh, they put the third string quarterback in, so you're not expecting to win like that. It was set up this way, so you don't be mad at the game for not being challenging when you put it on novice. That was your decision to put that shit on novice. You could have put that shit on all pro. They decided from the beginning, hey, fuck all pro. Let's just go ahead.
Yeah, it wasn't.
This is a rally. This is a rally with somebody there.
Yeah.
That's all. It was a rally with a
wasn't-
commentator.
Yeah,
That's
it was my disappointment in her handling of it. But the bigger issue was, like I said before, CNN.
CNN.
It was CNN.
Yeah.
Why do you put, even if as 45 being this fucking bulldozer, right? Even him being, I'm not going to put her in that situation. I'm going to put somebody. There was no fact checking. There was no names dropped. There was no, when she talked about government officials saying, oh, well, government officials have said that, you know, the election wasn't rigged. I need you to name them off.
Right.
I need you to give me something
Right.
other than it was government officials. That don't. It was
Too
no.
vague.
Yeah.
It was a book report.
She said specifically, you on the phone said that they owed you, or no, that they needed 11,000 votes. And he
Yeah.
said no. I said that they owed me because the election was rigged, and she said no. We've got you on tape saying something not that. He was like, it was a perfect call. It was a perfect call. And then he does what he does. I mean, like I said, I don't think there was anybody that could have had a better. I don't care how seasoned they were. I don't think you would have had a better. He was going to lie and impose whatever question was asked. He was going to say whatever the fuck he wanted to say.
It conflates two things. One, in letting him be dominant, it ignites these fools. The fool part. Because there's a group that believes in this. We already get the conservative side, but there's the other side that's racist, and which is the only reason you're in the group.
Right.
We don't like the rest of them. If that's the group you're in, that happens to also have people who understand fiscal matters and decide they want to spend money different. We've already gone through these episodes previously. You know what I'm saying? This is the separation of the two. But what happens in these times when this man puts words out and spews out, it ignites the fool. At the end of the town hall, they have a focus group. It's, I think, 9 people, 4 people in the back, 5 people across this front. They ask, and this guy, he's very stern in his asking the questions and breaks down. I should have brought my notes to show this, but one of the things he got to was, about January 6th and the coup. And he said, now that you've heard Trump and him speak tonight on where he stands with it and what happened, and he's like, how do you feel knowing that he really was willing to have them kill Mike Pence?
Yeah.
Hang Mike Pence. And he was like, how do y'all feel? This is on TV, right? And so he's like, and so they asked a couple people, and the first guy's like, well, it was a while ago, and he was like, I think what we really need to focus on is moving forward. And I was like, hold on, this man needs to be like a campaign manager for him. That'd be his answer, right?
But that's the talking point too.
And so point being taken. Next person. I'm really tired of this. And I think at this point, we've exhausted. We know who did what. And I think we should just move forward. We need to worry about our future. We need to worry about what families need now. And the families need now is always going to be the point. That should be the point every year. So let's stop playing that game.
Here's a question that anybody should be asking. How many people do you really think he changed their opinion from watching that?
Nobody.
Nobody. So, honestly, it
CNN.
was a fucking waste.
At a boxing match.
It's not a waste, though.
Well, no,
not a waste.
It wasn't a waste for him.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
But for if CNN is trying to be this middle of the road place, and this is, and you're about to, all the other Republican candidates are going to have town halls, then I may understand where you're going.
my only fear, it wasn't the fear that I had wasn't him swaying people to vote for him to get him closer into the White House, because I'm under the impression I may be.
That should be the fear.
I may be,
him getting back to the White House.
I don't see that being an option. I'm not even going to acknowledge that. I get you.
That was the
mistake.
That was the fear.
First place,
I get you. My biggest fear, I'm not going to say it's not a fear. That wasn't my biggest fear. My biggest fear was the strength of his words igniting the, like KG was saying, the extreme loonies that are waiting for the call from him to do some dumb shit.
Proud
that
Boys,
was the one where I was
stand
like,
up
okay,
and
he's gonna
stand
say
by.
some shit where it's like, these motherfuckers was like, yeah, January 6th was cool. Let's plan another one.
Right.
Let's do it again. We just didn't do it right the last time. Let's just do it again.
This time, I guess we got to get picked.
Because something
right?
that he said.
And he was like, what?
Something that he
That's
said and when he had his debate with Biden, when they said stand back and stand by, they said that the recruitment went up 3 times. Yeah, 300%. So with him saying something in this form, that was the thing that I was scared of the most. Is like, he's going to say something to ignite these motherfuckers again. That was my biggest fear. The other fear was, swaying people and all that, which I don't want to allow myself to even think of that. But my biggest fear was he gonna say something that had these motherfuckers be like, yeah, we should go back.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's do it again.
And the big thing you say is the key word you say, to ignite. And it seems like we're in a perpetual stage now of things that can be ignited, if you understand what I'm saying. Because, as Hex talks about every week about the media, it's just always just at that brewing point that all you have to do is just kind of light a match. It's like a volcano that's ready to erupt. And you got to, and eventually when the perfect storms come together. So in this particular case, it's kind of like, if we got to remember the cartoons, Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. It's always like the Wile E. Coyote always had this perfect trap, but the Roadrunner always seemed to kind of get away from it. And it just never seemed to actually work properly. If this was a trap, if this was a trap, I think it was poorly conducted. In my opinion,
Definitely not a trap.
Yeah, this was a ratings grab. This is a money grab.
Yes,
They wanted to get
exactly
this
what it was.
Also in this town hall, right? And are we going this? Are we doing this other one? The other one, because in this town hall they bring up the other case.
E. Jean Carroll.
Right.
Yeah, E. Jean Carroll.
So-
with him being found liable for.
Are we going there later?
defamation. Yeah, we'll go there later. Yeah.
Okay,
we
so
got it later.
I'll bring that up then.
Okay.
But the point, if you'd have saw this focus group, they end up asking, like, so where do you stand now? Now that you know that he's lied, because he's stressed that the guy, so, now we know it's come out about the Fox News, the election wasn't rigged, all these things he said, all the people he's tried to discredit, we all know that they were telling the truth. He's not being the honorable guy. Where do you stand now? Right, and here going one by one, and like, I would definitely not vote for him. And the point was, this group was all people who were either voted for Trump the first time, or were on the fence. That was this focus group. Like, these are the people.
They were Republicans.
Right.
Yeah.
So here we go. So if you're on the fence and you voted for him last time, where you stand now? And one by one, it was like, I think, I'm still with Trump. Right. And there's, and then the next guy's like, what do you say? He's like, I think I really don't see what he's done wrong. And I think it's a witch hunt. And, he's like, after everything we just finished discussing, he's like, Basically, like, without a doubt. Like, this is and to think you sat here and heard the same stuff I heard.
But again, we're trying to have these logical, pointed conversations about something that is not logically nor pointed. We're dealing with people who believe that they're in Thunderdome, and therefore they're not looking for someone who is intelligent enough to get them through. They're looking for someone who's strong enough to get them through, and they see him as strong. And as long as people keep encouraging him to be propped up as if he is strong and strength, people are going to follow him. They think that they need this thing because they have been told that they live in Armageddon. Yeah. People who live on a volcano island aren't scared of the volcano. People who live in tropical areas aren't scared of the hurricane. They don't understand. It's not that they don't understand that they're hurricanes. It's not that they don't understand what volcanoes do. Yeah. But you keep talking to them like, man, my wife asked me this week. She was like, I don't know how these people stay in Louisiana or in Miami during these hurricanes. Like, that's because it's not your house.
That's what they know.
You don't understand how much it costs to move every freaking time. You don't understand how much it costs and how much you lose if you do this, that, and the other. You don't understand how many times you miss that hurricane. It's not worth it for them to deal with this in your way all the time.
And not only that, that's a good point. Not only that, but they're conditioned. This is what they've grown up with. They're you know what I'm saying? They're built for this. So it's not a thing that,
and these groups of white men I'm sorry.
So for us working with a logical brain,
right.
You know what I'm saying, working with a semblance of trying to look at facts and some kind of a truth, this bothers us, right? This bothers, like, oh, he's lying. This shit bothers us. These people are conditioned. They've been conditioned this for a long time. Like, okay, this is just what it is. He lied. Okay,
that's how we do.
Remember,
so they're conditioned for his lies.
These people are constantly being told that they're about to lose their country,
everything,
and that the left are evil people that are trying to destroy democracy, which is I can't even believe that they can put themselves together with a straight face to say that.
This is why we know the media is so culpable for what's happening along with the nonsense, because we live in a world where, at this point in time, if you do anything, oh, that's your ass. Oh, you front page. You're on the heading of every Gmail, whatever.com that exists. That brings a news feed and starts off with a home page. Got you up front, whoever you are. And some people are seeking it when it comes to the celebrity side, and then some people, you pay the piper because you got caught.
Mm-hmm. And that's why
they don't do Trump like that at all.
Yeah.
Because somehow the people who are in charge of what goes out are not trying to act like this got convicted, basically. Because what's funny is when it came to OJ, he was the murderer, right? We still telling jokes 20 years later. So we going to do that with Trump when it comes to this?
Yep.
Or act like one of the 22 women who came forward don't deserve the dignity.
And that's where the conspiracy thing we spoke about last week with the Sean Hannity's and Tucker Carlson's. And see, this is where this stuff starts to weigh big, because they've created this whole Fox thing has galvanized an audience that is, it's like I said, it's ready for something like this. There's an audience that's already in place. It's kind of what we're saying, that no matter what it is, as soon as they get a spark like this, it just goes.
Yeah,
that's the problem. There's nobody on their side that can duplicate what he does.
Right.
Nobody brings those people out and has that much encouragement. Nobody can put I mean, you can say what you want about the rallies, but those people are out there for real. Now, when you start interviewing them and you see the type of person that you're interviewing,
right,
you might have something to say about that. But the fact that he can put those bodies in those seats and nobody else can duplicate
right,
that, and that's what all of them are trying to do.
But see, the rest of them live in a world in which you have to provide what your base needs you to hear for you to eat. See, Trump's advantage over all of them is his money comes from a whole other world. I don't need any of y'all. I stepped in here and told you y'all ain't shit. Y'all know what y'all doing. People was like, dude, who kicked in the door? And he was like, it's Debo, man. We don't know what, but he's telling everybody they trash. Everything you're doing is terrible, and he's going to do it better. And if someone was like, well, what's his idea? And he was like, I don't know. Right? And he was like, but he keeps talking shit. And he's like, well, what's his message? And he was like, I don't know. But he keeps talking shit about how he's going to make it awesome. Right? He's going to make it then turn great again. And at the end of the day, he got the people so riled up. It's like when you see I hate to put it, when you see the bad wrestling move that makes it fake, and you're like, man, you really didn't sell that one good enough. here we're just like the rest of them. We don't even care anymore.
45 is Negan, but
You're a
there are
criminal,
no real
and we
zombies.
don't even care.
45 is Negan, but there are no real zombies. That's what it is. It's like if you had the zombies, you might need him, but you don't have them, so you really don't need him. He's a joke.
I get your analogy and I get all that, but I don't know if it's no real zombies because I've seen some of his rallies and some of them like that. All right,
They can vote. That's why I know they ain't zombies.
zombies.
But I am lost by the
Drake
notion that protecting our country and loving the country and showing that love in a way which will get people to rally behind loving our country isn't a positive thing and something we should be trying to push for. You know what I'm saying? We're so stuck in the mud on conflict that we refuse to like rejoice on. Man, we got so much going on. We getting so much done. You don't even understand what's happening in this world that pertains to America keeping it safe, America making it strong, America building it, America supplying the funds for it. There's so much we don't talk about any of that because we stay indulged in
Trash.
Yeah.
But it's not because we don't stay indulged in fixing issues. That becomes the conflict. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's problems. Man, look at all these people making problems. And so, but we don't have discussions about fixing. And once we do fix, then we turn blind eyes as well.
Yeah.
So
This situation with CNN, I know Irv told me earlier they're going to give this platform and this opportunity to the other nominees.
We'll see.
The other means DeSantis.
And then
there are
funny.
no other
Yeah.
nominees.
wasn't nothing scheduled. They should have had. Come on, man. There's an intern over there. Should have had at least one person who was like, "Oh yeah, and we do plan on having DeSantis at some, predetermined, to be announced time." And had to walk that back later.
We'll see.
Versus, we just did Trump.
Unapologetic bullshit is attractive these days. It's sad. We appointed a wonderful segment. We are going to get into that E.G. and Carroll thing in the next segment. We're going to get into that with the the nominee for the Republican nomination. Same shit.
Right.
We'll be back. Hex, give me what?
UDK.
I told him get back, don't touch me, I got it. Deep in the woods, I'm ducked off in a cottage. I'd rather keep it in house like it's grounded. I'm letting loose if I'm ever surrounded. I sacrifice just to show that I'm solid. If God in control, then why he allow it? Pressure made diamonds, you know how we rockin'. Characters, how you act when it's chaotic. I know the difference from molehills and mountains. You counted me out cause you not good at counting. Don't handle the money cause you bad with numbers. You not good with math, so your grade steady falling. I don't want trouble, but ready to rumble. My brothers come running whenever I call them. Thought I was finished, but I'm too resilient to keep it a trillion. I'm just getting started. I just keep on rolling, I keep getting better, I keep getting stronger. Arms getting swollen from gym every morning. At first I didn't see it, but I kept on going. God told me sit back and know what they posting. Just look at they fruit, cause that's how you gon' know them. Most of you dead to me, cause you ain't growing. I hop on the beat and start running like Noah. I manifest while I beat on my chest. I'm a soldier, a soldier, a soldier, a soldier. I'm a soldier, left a message on red like October. I'm the grandson of Isaiah Moses. God put me to the side and said, don't tell them lies, you can't be like them cause you were chosen. From the swamp like, ooh, that's a nice boulder.
Just one to say what's poppin', on the moving, yeah. There ain't no stopping. It's way too much on my plate. I can't just drop it. Still with Rogers, yeah. Same old options. I may not be posted up in that McDonald's at the Plaza, but my crib got one more whip now. That's my bros. He got the Mazda. I swear you know where to find me. No GPS tracker. I do shows and interviews, but still got time for me right after. So look, execute until we meet again. Just call me on my cell. A text and hit the send. At times I'm out of town, but I'm always in the ends. And girl, I'm well aware I'm not your only friend, but I told you, you know where I'm at if you need me. You know where I'm at if you need me. You know where I'm at if you need me. You need me, as long as you know. You know where I'm at if you need me. I know. You know where I'm at if you need me. You know where I'm at if you need me. You know where I'm at if you
sir.
Okay,
Oh man,
okay,
shout out to
okay.
Darren Falana for the musical selection.
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Man,
Herb, that's her name from now on. Dog.
let me be clear.
y'all see
That's her name from now on.
Easy.
what's happening?
What's the name of the person of the record we played before we went to break, bro?
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me no disrespect.
Come on, man.
Hold on, wait a minute, no disrespect.
That was fire,
That was Staringo.
man.
But yeah, we played him before.
Yeah,
Ringo Starr. Yeah,
Well, let
Staringo.
me tell you something.
Yeah.
That's a record right there. That's a record right there.
Yeah.
Now this last one, it's
Yeah.
not bad.
Darren Falana,
It's
yeah.
bad. It's not bad at all.
It's summertime vibe.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All day. I won't get my musical critique on, but
Talk about it.
no, I would have just did something second different on the hook. So I wouldn't have did that so many times. The second half of that should have been something else.
Jules right here. Y'all
You
get-
know what?
y'all
Yeah,
get-
See,
and
y'all
your
get,
name
y'all
and-
get mad at me when I do
Y'all
this,
get
but,
rules
but he,
right
No,
he,
what
he
I'm
started doing
saying.
it. Y'all cool.
You know what? Your name. You can't do that 9 times, bro. You got so
Nowadays
twice.
you can.
Cool. Then come in.
Yeah,
Right,
getting-
something right.
Y'all getting this for free.
You forget,
Then you
I was
come
about to
back.
Say, this is free.
You
and
know
y'all
where
forget
I'm
this
at if you
competition is
need
NBA
me.
Youngboy.
Right?
Exactly.
Hey, that's not hate. I'm just
No,
throwing
it was dope.
Yeah.
It's love. It's love. If you get on the
If you get on the pod,
here,
you're doing
yes,
something.
yes, you're doing
First
something
of
special.
all, that's
Yeah.
Shout out to Easy.
Oh man, we back. So yeah, we touched on this. Touched on. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, let's not.
Double entendre. We spoke about this subject before we went to break.
Speaking of touching,
Right. 45. He it's been a week. It's been a week for him. I haven't been real quick, just looking around, nobody has been accused of any kind of sexual impropriety at all.
anyone?
Never, no.
Anyone?
But apparently
Anyone?
apparently when he does it, it's okay. It's fine. It's when he does it. And he has been found liable in this situation, E.G. and Carroll. Hex, real quick, give us a rundown of it and your thoughts about the case where 45 has been found liable.
I thought it was a wonderful verdict because I thought the woman presented the truth. I thought she had absolutely no reason other than you put yourself in the limelight and I tried to let this shit go type scenario as far as the pain caused by what took place. And then what was the most insulting part, and I think I wish everybody caught this whole notion. He never said, I didn't rape that woman. He never said that. I don't even understand if people got it at all. When you got caught up in the, she's not my type. And, I would
don't know who
never.
she is.
Come on, man, look at her. It's like, you mean the 70-something version of her? Because let me tell you something, buddy. The 30-something version of her, the 40-something version of her, that Farrah Fawcett lady. Come on, you saw the black and white.
Yeah, he was on it.
No, actually,
He thought that was his own
about to-
second wife.
he actually thought that was his wife.
That's Marlo.
So-
That's Marlo.
That was sad.
What you talking about?
That was sad.
Come on, man, that's Marlo.
The first of all, I'm glad that they came out with the verdict that they did. However,
There's no punishment for it,
bruh, it's
and
not
the way they
$5 million, bruh, he made that just from talking about her and getting his donations up. Like that's the part that pissed me off. It was like, yeah, we find
like-
$2 million for this, $1
he's
million
like,
for this,
alright.
20,000 for this, but there's no consequence because the people who support him paid that.
I mean,
They paid that.
What I heard, Hex, like you said, he never came straight out and said, I did not do this. What I heard, though, when he said, she's not even my type, the way I heard it was, she's not my type. But if
Damn.
she was, but if she was,
speak on it.
then what?
Oh, this is all day then.
This is all day then. But she wasn't my. That is your only, defense to that. Then to me, that's
And to follow that up, not to
Negan.
cut you up, but bruh, to follow that up, what happened is they played the video of him in the Entertainment Tonight.
Access Hollywood.
Come on.
About grabbing them, and if you're a
Hey,
star,
man.
you can do this, that, and the other.
And then his response with the, over like with the town hall, it's like, what? I mean, over the last million years, this is how it's been.
Yeah.
A million years? Who speaks in the last million years?
For him-
This is how it's been. If you're famous, you can grab anybody and do whatever. No, if you're famous, you have that many more who want you, and make that clear.
Yeah.
But you're not them.
for him to have that level of entitlement and arrogance, I don't know how and I know we would talk about, emotional versus intellectual. I get all that. But I don't know how you even consider him to vote if you're a woman, or if you care about women at all. It's like, this is what he thinks about this woman, not, like JR said, I didn't do this. He never said that. No. He just said that she's not my type. So if she was your type, then, I would do it. It's like, it's just.
I just want to jump in. Like Hex always talks about, he always asks about where's the outrage from these groups who otherwise would be. Yes. We don't. I'm just not hearing the volume.
Right.
No,
I'm just not.
Not at all.
The volume, the tweets, the text, the parade, the stand-in, the something, right?
Something.
And so it's like they've almost been quieted. It's like did you take some money? Is there a leader? And they were like, look, man, they gave us $20 million just to shut up. But if that's and if that's the case, then guess what? For the real reporter, that's the story right now. What happened to the people who? And I hate to go here because this is where they make you go. But when it was Bill Cosby, every time they added another block on the screen of another female woman, another woman's picture, to say this is who also said this is what happened to them. And one thing that happened in the case with Trump is not only did he have the situation with Carol, but he had a situation with the other lady, the woman who worked for the New York Times. And it's like, and they kept that it's like a B-side on one of those old cassette tapes, like, and they also gave you on BVD, like, what?
There's like 22 different ladies that have actually accused him of assault. I mean, that's what, to me, that's what made it so gangster when he invited all of the women that allegedly Bill Clinton had assaulted to the forum with Hillary. I was like, bruh, like you haven't. She should have the very next debate. She should have had all the people that accused him in the stand
in the front row.
So, but I guess she was trying to go high on it. My thing is this man had the opportunity to come to court and say in front of the judge that he did not commit this crime, that he didn't do anything, and he chose to leave the country.
And he also talked about on the town hall, he was saying like, it's a Clinton appointed judge, and they didn't give me the opportunity to. It's like, what?
Oh yeah, it was another lie.
Actually, the judge actually saved time and actually purposefully asked an open-ended question, save time just in case. So, hey, matter of fact, let's come back in like 3 days, just so he had time.
Give him time
to come back and speak if he wanted to, but he decided he didn't.
He is and I love my man Trump as a person.
Who, Trump?
But he is the Draymond Green of politics.
Who?
Oh,
Trump,
man.
Oh, Trump is he will do all the things that he does. And recognizing with the videotape, the audio tape, we know it, but we'll still argue to the death.
So,
the note again, when CNN brought up from the beginning, the first thing he did is he said the election still wasn't really accounted for. He made that notion one more time. Like, dude, you just had to pay for it. He was like, again, if you get anybody else who gets caught for the crime. For all the police shows you've watched, if you get caught doing the same thing, Tony, you're going up this time. And he's like, soon as he gets out, this nigga's a bank robber. He goes to the first bank. he calls an Uber from jail to the bank, right? And you're like, what you gonna do? And he's like, is that Tony down there robbing the Bank of America? He's like, is Tony down there robbing the Bank of America? It's Donald down there at the bank. One more time. And they're like, what you gonna do about it, man? He's like, it's just Donald. Man, he ain't gonna take all that money. He ain't gonna leave it, man. It's always an excuse behind when Donald robs the bank. It's not an excuse. He's gonna say, crazy.
It's a witch hunt. It's crazy. That lady's a whack job. Notice how I'm whack jobbing her.
Even if you get
defaming her, like that's what.
And
I'm defaming her for the second.
And he might get that work again. He might get that work again.
Exactly. Pay up.
He went onto the town hall and said, what type of lady invites you into a dressing room and lets you do
hanky-panky
the first time you meet him? How would you know
So that happened.
if you weren't a part of this whole thing to begin with, and
Dog.
you don't even know her, but yet you can describe in a little bit of detail that I can't believe you would know if you didn't know her at all that this is what occurred.
He's just been a celebrity so long that, like he said, you know what I'm saying? They just always want something.
Bro,
I don't know what y'all talking about.
I told my
Y'all
wife.
bugging.
I told my wife the other night. I said, you know what? Imagine this. If this is how we're going to accept this, that you could literally get you a rape debit card,
A what?
a rape card. Oh, you ain't got the rape card?
Oh my God.
If you get you a rape debit card,
Just put $5 million on it.
you can put 5, 10, 15, 20 million on your card, right?
Your supporters will put
Yes,
five-
you ain't got to put it on yourself.
but it's in your account. So
Yeah.
you got to take out your other cash app and put it in. So you carry the one, you gonna put it in.
That's your budget. Yeah, that's your
Your
budget. A rate budget. You
Rape,
got a
but
rate budget.
yeah,
Yeah.
come on,
But
that's
you
that
know-
rape. That's that rape.
It's
So
sponsored,
now,
it's sponsored by Patreon.
so now you literally do rape for women.
Oh no.
Speak on it in such a casual way. What if I was in the dressing room? What did you just say?
It's a whole.
It's no denial at all. JR, come on, man. Bruh, who didn't steal the candy bar says, I ain't even got a candy bar on me. What you talking about? He's like, man, hold on, man. Why would I even go in the Bergdorf's?
like-
we got your own camera in the Bergdorf's.
But say no matter what you want to say about, we heard the outrage, the volume when it came to Bill Cosby or Snoop Dogg.
Kelly.
Oh, come on, man.
Kelly.
That documentary.
We heard outrage.
Robert.
At least we heard a side of people who said, "Hey, look, I'm going to take this side," or "I'm not going to," or whether Mike Vick with the dogs. We heard outrage, but in this case, we hear crickets. I mean, crickets.
Are we conditioned to just be like, this is what he does, and like this is just the way it is? Like, is it
Okay,
is
well,
it-
we
is
should
it us?
we should have been that way with Snoop Dogg
No,
when he talked to Gayle King in that way.
No.
We should, but
Let me tell you.
All right, let's separate
What's
a couple
not
things.
happening is no one's standing up on a national televised program and saying to America, you are allowing this shit to continue. It is because you are standing at home, you are not participating, you are not involved, you find conversations like this boring, but don't understand how it impacts your life and your world, your everyday. You wonder why this milk is $19. Well, you're not paying attention to who's making it that and who's getting the cut when it turns that way. And that becomes that's a part of everything else. He's making it clear he is in this for the hustle. And he's making it clear, I'm a scumbag up front. What you gonna do about it? But if you ain't even gonna pay attention, you're not being robbed, you letting somebody have. And that's what we're doing. Because we have to work as a unit, and unfortunately, we're as strong as our strong, but we're as weak as our weak.
For one thing, we have to separate some things when we talk about outrage. Because most of the people that you were discussing, even Cosby, I don't remember hearing as many white voices that were discussed as I remember hearing a whole lot of black people. I remember hearing people being saddened, being disappointed by their culture hero being looked at in that way. But we're talking about like R. Kelly. I didn't hear a whole lot of white people scared of R. Kelly. I didn't hear all the outrage from all of them. I heard black people saying that because they were the victims.
Speak on
and
it.
when it's white people, when it comes to Trump, again, it's about strength. And he represents strength to those people, and they see the other side as being weak. Oh, all you have to do is laws, and what, you want to make him pay? He's a billionaire. Well, first of all, we've never seen tax returns. Let's say he's a billionaire. Second of all, we can keep on grinding ourselves into this emotional hole about what's going on, but if we're not going to fix it, it means nothing. And right now, nobody's trying to fix anything having to do with Trump. There's nobody to back him up and be a better representation of Republicanism. There's nobody on the other side that's a better representation of democracy, of the Democratic Party, than Biden. And that's shaky as hell on this side. So when we talk about there being town halls and people being won over, whatever, don't dismiss that people are being won over, because there are lots of people who are sick of both sides. And they just want an excuse to deal with one side or the other. And if they see strength on one side and aging on the other side, guess what? Either through action of voting for them or action of not voting at all, there are actions being taken place. So that is pushing people one way or the other.
There's no the saddest thing for me when I watched, and I know we're not on the town hall, but I'm gonna reference back to that with the E.G. and Carroll thing, with him talking about her in the brazen and the arrogant way that he did, the unapologetic tone that he had with everything that was going on. There's nobody, there's no counter. There's no counter for him.
Nope.
It's literally just like it's him, and it's like, well, we don't want him. There's no counter. It was like, it's no Democratic star. It's like, okay, I have the same charisma, or I'm as unapologetic about what's going on that's right, opposed to him. Everybody that's on the other side is like you said, they shaky as hell, or it's like, yeah, they may go strong on one subject, but the rest of the shit you hear nothing about. A Democratic star, you may hear them take a strong stance on one issue, and that's fine. But everything else is just like, but we don't really get the same. There's not the same.
There's no energy. There's no
vitriol.
vitriol.
Yes, same energy.
But see, that's why I keep saying the problem is the media. No. Why are you not hunting down the other 21 women and saying, where do you stand? How can we help you? What else do you need us to do to get your story out? You matter. We can't keep playing, women can do anything. We love them. And then at the same time abuse them and treat them like whatever, and then act like we're still on their side. You can't hurt the person and rescue them as well. And that's what's happening right before our eyes.
Let's clarify when we say media, because we don't really mean media. What we
mean the news
if you Google,
outlets that can actually not Googling it. Because Googling means you have to take the time to do it. I'm talking about, you know how they sell the books for dummies? Microsoft for Dummies, Microsoft Word for Dummies. This is Politics for Dummies. We are going to tell you who just did what and why that matters to our country. To our country. So it's not about me taking a side. It's not about you and your side. It is about what is going to make our country better, and having leadership that is guilty of things that we know right in our faces can't be accepted, because we're too bright to one, accept it, and to two, turn a blind eye to it.
We're in a binary system right now, so I would love to. I'm gonna move past that section. Because we're in a binary system, there are two major parties, and those two major parties have decided on basically two people, and those two people don't represent, for the most part, what we're looking for in America. And that's true for probably 60% of Americans, those who generally care about electing a new official. On the Biden side, you have Biden, who, it's not about his age, because Biden has been the leader of one of America's smallest and non-representative states for most of his lifetime. And his vice president is a woman who's a black woman of Indian descent as well, who is not getting numbers even from either of those groups. So there's no strength on that side. And then on the Republican side, you have Trump, and then you have a dude who was trying to be like Trump in DeSantis, who has basically the exact same temperament, but is less charming to the people on his side, and is a complete idiot. He's not an idiot. That's the problem I don't want to say. He's not stupid. He's just so arrogant and angry and mean that he's off-putting to a lot of people on his own side. So now that we're here, what do we do about that? And it's hard to sell people on, hey man, but there's enough good people on Biden's side, so let's just push that side, because some people just want something to look better.
But it's difficult. It's difficult to find a solution for Trump when everyone that wants to go up against him always compares themselves to him. Like, well, I'm not this and I'm not that, and this is how bad he is, and it's like nobody can get away from. They can't get out of his orbit. They can't get away from him.
They don't have a Bernie Sanders. They don't have a Bernie Sanders.
Right. They can't get away from him and say, "This is what I do." Everybody is saying, "Well, he's this bad," and if you keep shining the limelight on a person saying how bad they are, there are going to be people out there that's be like, "Well,
you're just a lesser them."
Yes, yeah, but you're a version of them.
Yes.
Like, I'm not as bad as he is, and he did it. Well, you're still shining on him, so I don't see where, like, after this next election, right? Mm-hmm. So Biden can't do this again,
right?
Like, he can't run, even if he wins. Let's say he wins, he can't do this again. So what after that?
Yeah, and I think the person on their side would have been like a Mitt Romney, but he again is too. aside from his whole lineage and Utah shit, like that makes it hard for him to actually come up as
Addicted
strong.
to the money.
Again, he's
NRA,
he's money regardless. I think
13.
I think his problems are that even within the party, he's seen as weak, and that's a different issue. But
No, because he has some carrying factors. That's what makes him. You're right, but seen as weak. You're right, because those caring about a few things at all to them is weak.
That's what it is now.
Right.
If you care about, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
This sucker. Right.
So without any of those middle ground people, without any strength from anywhere else, your strength either looks like I care about everyone and that's too many people, or I care about no one and y'all got to get like me. So with that attitude that America is showing, even though we're the people who give the most money to everyone around the world, who try to help out with every type of war that's against anything communist around the world, aside from all those things, we're not doing anything to look like that. We're just showing that with our money and our military.
Does this verdict, this outcome with him
Doesn't
being
move it
found
that
liable, does it move the needle
Not a bit.
at all?
No, just like the town hall. I mean, it's
There you
no
go.
different. Everybody has their mind made up on this guy. Period.
Which has to be based on race and not party, because they have options now. Well, I'm sorry.
If there's still some independents out there at this point, after however long that we've been dealing with this guy saying that they don't know, or even in Biden's case, I mean, you know what you're getting from both sides, whether you like it or not. I mean, there's a certain segment of people that are going to vote simply because of the D or the R beside them.
Right.
There's a certain segment of people that are going to vote simply because it's
I hate that
45. I mean, and somebody made a statement earlier this week that. Maybe it wasn't the first time it was said, but not all Trump supporters are white nationalists.
Right.
But all white nationalists
Are Trump supporters?
Right?
No doubt.
To me, that in itself says all that you need to know about where
Who's willing to get with
he's
them.
really at.
Right.
And it's the part that hurts are when the Byron Donalds and the Tim Scotts get up and try to say that this is their guy.
Have you seen Tim Scott's real quick? Have you seen his presidential exploratory committee? Did you see that commercial?
no.
Is it on the?
Oh my god!
was that the
Family
one on the
Short
milk
YouTube.
carton?
It was so bad.
It'll be fast, believe me.
That is that the thing he did on the milk carton?
It might as well have been.
I'll be surprised if he makes it past the first debate.
It was like a 2 minute. It was like a 2 minute video on Twitter, and it had him in it for like 15 seconds, and then the rest of it was just like a drone just flying around. It was bad.
I love it because what I want the Democratic side and the independent side to see is, do you see how they are even willing to change the needle enough to even play the game of taking a Byron, or a Tim Scott and go, look, man, we are, look, it's brown people over here. They get it. And they're like, no. There's too many people who are going to continue to tell us. The brown people keep taking money from y'all are snakes. That's the only reason they're there. And they're like, well, a lot of the people don't listen to y'all's message or the word or even what's going on at all. So it kind of looks like we're inclusive. This is smoke and mirrors. Let me tell you, at the end, on this town hall, again, this focus group, at the end they ask about, hey, where do these women stand on this rape case? And the first lady says, well, I haven't, honestly, I don't know a lot about the case. As though she was going to do her own Matlock investigation on this. She didn't have her own investigator break it down and get her notes back to her in time. And so, and then she was like, but I find it, she put it, quote unquote, so the lady comes back and she's like, I have to be honest, I find it disturbing. He was like, okay. Now she's like, I hear you. So you really don't know a lot, but but normally you do about most things. But in this case, for some reason, you don't. But the next lady, he goes to the next lady, and she says, well, same thing. I don't know a lot about the case. I'm like, God, this is kind of how it went the first time before. Like, she just piggybacked everything she said. Mm-hmm. She just said it in reverse order. She was like, well, first of all, I don't really know a lot about the case. And, I do find it kind of disturbing, though. I mean,
but that's not enough. Is that enough?
But disturbing in what way?
This is CNN. Third lady. She says, first of all, when it comes to people bringing up these stories 20, 30 years later, and she covers her ears, and she was like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You didn't go to the police. You didn't do whatever back then. I don't want to hear it. But I will say, I also do find this whole story disturbing.
But
And I'm like, hold on.
You know what it is?
Take
You
a
know-
stance and take it back.
You know what it is? No.
And they only asked 3.
No, you know what it is? Words matter, right? So they find the story disturbing. Think about it for a second. They find the story
That's what I said.
disturbing.
What
The event,
Uh-huh.
I'm cool with that. The event, if it happened, it happened. That's
They
fine.
know they
I find-
know those events happen.
I find the story about it. I find them talking about it, and bringing it up, and throwing. I find that part disturbing. The event though, no.
Let me also add
Perpetrator of the crime?
the third
I don't
lady.
find that stuff-
The third lady also said, I also know that women sometimes don't tell the truth, and women sometimes can add to the story. And she's like, and sometimes they can be, they can be telling the truth. If you saw the show, that's all dead on. And if you didn't, you can go check it out to confirm it. But that was the follow up with the group, the focus group. There were people on the fence and people who voted for Trump the first time, and they were trying to say, after all of this, after he's let you down, after he's lied, as he's messed with these women, as he's called people different names, as he's been less than professional, as he kept the files at the house and thought they was the same as trying to have his people go through and take out stuff.
I've got the right to keep those files.
That was
just
bush.
And lied about how they approached him, and then they had the on live TV. That's what I'm talking about. He should not be able to do shit like this as a leader, as an influential person who can influence people's lives. Say to everybody in America, "Hey, here's what happened. They showed up in the middle of the night and they just bursted in and took my stuff and raided my home in Mar-a-Lago." That's not what happened. They notified your people. Your lawyers knew in time. You could have had submitted everything back. No different than how it could have been when it came to the arraignment, when it came to the situation with Stormy Daniels. And just by allowing him to be recorded by saying the lie, as we're about to go to, it is amazing the difference. Why is he any different than George Santos?
I appreciate the alley-oop, by the way. So yeah, it's really a shame. Like the lady said, it's disturbing. The part that stirs me the most is the fact that this isn't a deal breaker for America. He had the book, was The Art of the Deal. That was his thing, right? The Art of the Deal. Yep. The fact that this isn't a deal breaker to me fucks me up. Like
I'm a Rosa.
It fucks
Where
me
you
up.
at?
Next subject. I talked to KG about this early in the week, and I wanted to make sure that we got to this. George Santos.
If that is his real name.
Jorge Santitos.
Oh, we've talked at length about the atrocities, about the criminal acts that Donald Trump has committed, has been convicted of, the ones that he hasn't been convicted of and been able to get away with. George Santos, though, he hasn't been able to seem to find the same rhythm. He hasn't been able to find his shot. Yeah, he checked in basketball. Like, he hasn't been able to really hit his shots
right.
like Trump has.
He's off.
Yeah, exactly. KG, real quick, can you just give us a quick rundown of the situation with George Santos and his newest newest debacle?
George Santos has been charged with 13 count indictment returned by the federal grand jury on Tuesday. 7 counts are for wire fraud, 3 counts of money laundering, 2 counts of making materially false statements to the House of Representatives, and 1 count of theft of public funds. At this moment,
You know what the wire fraud? So I'm a fan of Ozark, right? Netflix show Ozark.
Right.
And me and JR used to talk about this all the time. When I heard wire fraud and money laundering, that was the first thing I thought about was Ozark. I was like, damn, like he getting it like that. But the thing about it is the way that he's doing it is like this, getting money in the legislature and in government. This is what they do. They get money. But the way that you're doing it is so it's so like, what are you doing, bro?
He took Trump one-on-one.
Yeah.
He
failed
took
the class.
Trump, but did he? He got paid. He got the fame. He got the name he wanted. He got the acclaim he got for being a scumbag, which is how you get in this club. He almost kicked down the door. It's like the first thing about Fight Club. We don't talk about Fight Club. He went right to the street. Nigga, I fought somebody the other night in the streets, and they were like, "Where?" Like, right behind the Planet Fitness. Yeah. And they were like, "What? Man, it's organized and everything." And they're like, "Hold on, man. First thing about Fight Club is we don't talk about Fight Club." And he did it like Trump would. And I get Trump about to take him under his wing. Don't see the thing about making the TMZ version of him being so outlandish and foolish about doing what he did is, don't forget, at this point we are accepting everyone's behavior.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, oh, well, he was about to get in trouble because he's not Donald Trump. But he sat right there in your face in front of all those reporters and said, "Look, man, don't worry about when I worked at the place I worked when I said I got fired," and then asked for unemployment.
You know, there are 2 or 3. I think it's 3. There are 3 different instances where he's been recorded in these situations, and I keep thinking back, and I'm like, bruh, you're not good at this. Like, I mean,
you don't have to be anymore.
Is it?
You don't have. We know Trump's lying. We know Trump's lying. If the leader can do it, why can the guy on JV not do it?
So he's trying to be the evolution of 45. Is that what it is? He's the the variant. Is he a Trump variant?
We're accepting all.
He's a crook.
That's what I'm trying to say.
The man is a crook.
Yeah.
First and foremost. My question is, where's Kevin McCarthy at? Because if this was a Democrat, they'd
he's
be
a crook.
They'd be on his ass.
Bruh.
No, he just never would have gotten
it. It would be
anywhere.
so outrageous. These jokers would be on Fox every day screaming for this person to be gone if he was a Democrat. But the only reason why nobody has anything to say is because of the R beside his name. Which, again, that seems to be common, is that when you have an R beside your name, you are easily able to get away with being a crook, and you get to keep your position for as long as you want.
A Democrat like Santos never would have gotten past city council, for one. And that's not because they're better. It's just because they have to play the game differently. And the reason why he gets something because there's an R by his name is only because of where he is. It's a foothold in New York. Where they needed a Republican to be able to get a spot. It's not that he's important in any type of way. So amongst his lies, he allegedly lied to collect unemployment benefits. As Hex mentioned, it was $24,000 while he was making $120,000 a year. He allegedly lied to donors about then used their money to buy designer clothes. He allegedly lied to Congress when he started misconstruing what his lies were and saying, no, that's true.
So he's lying about the lies.
But that's the thing. It's not illegal to lie to people. It's illegal to lie to Congress about.
That's perjury. Right?
That's not perjury, but it's a whole different thing about. It's basically like it's a slightly different thing, but it's not perjury.
It's his street cred.
No,
it's his political street cred. Oh, you a scumbag. We all lie. We didn't know you was going to do that.
Put it this way.
We knew the answer to.
If you want to work for the federal government and you say, "Nah, I've never had a felony," you telling someone that you've never had a felony is not a lie. But once you sign the contract, that's when it becomes a lie. So make it equivalent for that. Yeah. He lied about where he went to high school, which is why I'm explaining why he's not like Trump. This has just been a habitual liar since beginning. He lied about where he went to high school. His parents immigrated from Brazil, and he attended Horace Mann School in the Bronx for the first years of his high school, but had to leave the private academy in his senior year. And he also lied about where he went to college. He also said that he worked on Wall Street, and he never worked on Wall Street. So
you can see why he's a Republican.
I'm just saying.
Oh, man.
So he sounds like the perfect guy.
He lied about founding an animal charity, which was to save veterans' animals, and he actually railroaded that man out of a lot of thousands of dollars of money that was contributed for the help of his dog. That was swindling the disabled vet.
He used to do drag shows, right? Didn't he used to do drag shows as well?
He ain't got that
yet. It's coming. It's coming.
That's made 37.
That's line 37.
Give him a chance.
He may have ripped off an Amish dog breeder with a bad check.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I did hear he was up for check fraud. I heard that.
God.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just simply want to say, you guys saying scumbag, a career scumbag, just a total serial scumbag.
He's a savant.
And when what's happening is the only good that I think can come down the road from people like this is if you squeeze them hard enough, they normally start to squeeze on other people because there's no honor amongst these.
There's nobody for him to squeeze on, dog. This is all his lives.
Right. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, where there's smoke, there's fire, man. This is status quo. This is how they do things.
When it's the 14-year-old kid who keeps putting the doctor's jacket on and showing up and trying to actually find himself
I remember
in
that.
the
That was
ER,
crazy. I remember
right? And he just was fascinated and wanting to be a doctor, right? But he's only 14. He keeps leaving school, keeps showing up at the hospital, and he keeps sneaking in and gets right in the mix. And people see him enough that they think he's supposed to be there. So no one's like, "What's this kid doing here?" I guess there's enough brilliant young people who may be accepted in the building walking around, but obviously he had enough confidence to look as though, and George Santos has enough confidence to look as though, but if even when you're live, you say it with your chest, as Kevin Hart said, you will then find yourself in a position where the dumbest dummy that stumbles across the information will hear just that little rhetoric and think, "Well, I heard him say he didn't do it.
Yeah,
This is ridiculous." And you're like,
I would like to. You know how like Jordan Klepper, we talking from Daily Show,
Yep.
he goes out and he interviews
Right.
people. I would love for him to go to the district where he's from and just find out what made them vote for. Like, what was it about George Santos? Because we know all of it is bullshit, right? So it's like, well, what is it about him that made you vote for him? Because this story is frightening to me.
Do you have any idea where he's from? Where he works? I mean, where his
district is? Yeah.
Right, it's
All right,
Long
so
Island.
But what do you
On
know
the edge of the Bronx.
about Long Island? Long Island is where where the when you look at all the mob movies and everything else, that's where the henchmen that run like Hoffa and all them were running shit. Like that's so all you need is union shit to have power there. It's not about, hey, but I kissed a lot of babies and no. The union runs this. Who has your support?
Yeah, I would still like to hear from them individually. I would like to hear from them in person and be like, what was it? Not to say that, it would convince me of anything, just to see that thought process. Like him?
It sounds like someone put out who had very powerful connections to do so, something negative about whoever he was running against, right? And actually, in fact, I think wasn't it in a situation where there was no one else running?
No, he had to run, I guess.
I thought it was something to that particular area at that moment. Someone else either didn't or got in trouble or had dropped out. There's something to why, but he didn't. They just weren't like George.
He wasn't supposed to be.
No one yelled George Santos at a party when he won.
I'm not sure if he ran unopposed or if it was one of them situations where the Democrats thought it was a seat that they had sold up, and then the Republicans actually put some money behind it, and the Democrats didn't. And they
Either
lost.
way, it's fishy.
Right.
It's fishy.
Y'all gonna
Either
stop
way, this dude should not be a representative. He should
Of
be
anything.
in
At all.
jail.
In jail.
Along with 45.
All right, so
But I think
He's a Republican.
But
so
the worst part is happening is people are showing all of us. If Jim Jordan is in office, if McCarthy is in office, you know what I'm saying? If Trump is in office, we can keep, man. If Abbott is in office, if DeSantis is in office, then we don't have an argument for getting rid of anyone.
Yeah,
I told you they muddied the water.
Real quick, I just found this article. Republican George Santos is the winner in the race for New York's 3rd congressional district, beating Democrat Robert Zimmerman and flipping the seat from blue to red. So it wasn't like it was just this is a seat we supposed to get. He flipped this shit. Yeah, he flipped this shit. So I need to know now, like, why?
All right, let's not get bogged down. I got a lot more lies to get through. Y'all hold me up. All right. So in the question about his marriages. So when he won that seat, it was said that he was the first openly gay non-incumbent Republican elected in Congress. And he has this bio that says that he has his husband, blah blah blah, and where they were married and they live with 4 dogs, blah blah blah. Okay. Even though he arrived with a husband who has no ring on his finger, and
it was 5 cats,
and has been divorced from a woman in Queens. Yeah, okay. So it's unclear that even though he said that his mother's death was related to 9/11, that it's unclear that is true at all. His grandmother was definitely not a Holocaust victim. That was what his whole thing about being Jewish and blah blah.
Yeah,
blah.
he said I was Jew-ish.
Ish, kind of like blackish.
hyphen eyes, like right.
Blackish.
Right.
What?
Black, it's just,
Oh my God!
that's how the kids say it.
He did.
He tried to sell that.
He did not have employees who died in the Pulse shooting, according to his Jew-ish thing. Putting aside his Holocaust fabrications, the representative has also said a few times that over the years he's a conservative Roman Catholic on Facebook, and his mother posted Catholic prayers and discussed the Virgin
He's
Mary.
a conservative.
He's a bisexual.
He had lied before.
Catholic Jew wish.
with 75 cats and a husband wife.
That's terrible.
A husband and a wife.
And a wife.
Now getting to the drag queen in Brazil, and there's a picture here if y'all want to see.
I don't see it.
So there's a lot of pictures and photos about him dressing in drag in Rio de Janeiro, even though he has both confirmed and denied these at multiple different situations
Lord have mercy.
and times.
Jesus.
He was not.
Guy got a lot going on.
So
when he walked into the Republican election office, his paper just said George.
That's it. That's it.
And he
With
had
a
to fill it
stamp.
out,
You know, and somebody stamped it.
And with 45, trying to tie this all together, with 45 with his lies, with George Santos and his laundry list of lies, how do we keep letting these people? We all, when coming up, we always said politicians lie. That's what they do. When they get into office, they lie. But we're now at a different level of lying. I feel like we're at a different level now. Before it was like I will lie about what I'm going to do in office, and then get it in that I won't be able to do it. We're at a different level.
But brag on the one thing I do. You know what I'm saying?
It was hyperbole is a real thing. Exaggeration is a real thing. Every single politician exaggerates.
Oh, facts,
right?
yeah.
And I had to come to grips with that part, right?
Right.
But then when you got these jokers just outright lying, to me that's just disrespectful of the voters themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And for the voters not to have any discontent about being not one or two, but I'm going to lie to you every opportunity I get a camera and a microphone in my face.
Oh, I'm on it.
And you are going to love me for it. That's why I always think there's I know KG was saying earlier that there's a binary choice, but to me there's a third choice. It seems like there are people out there that want our government to just implode,
Fail. Yeah.
period. And he, to me, is a recipe for that.
Right.
I might not be voting for conservatism, but the government is in our way, and there's people that believe there shouldn't be any government at all.
Yeah.
And he
Libertarians.
is furthering our agenda.
Yeah, he is a poison pill. He is okay because, like you said, I was saying, with 45 and him being the evolution of that, and it's like it's come to a point now where, like you said, people. It's not the fact they don't believe in government, because I think we were like that a few years ago. People, they don't believe in government, they have faith. Now it's just like, I want to see y'all burn.
Yeah.
Like, I want the government to burn. So how do you have a honorable discourse and debate with people and try to further it when you have people who don't give a fuck about government and actively want it to fail?
We need
Great question.
we need outlets like ourselves to stay on it
All day.
and not treat it as though it is simply the topic for this week.
Mm-hmm.
It has to become something that we will stand by until something actually gets done, or we die failing and realize it by going through it. But only way we can speak on it is if we try. But if we only just say, again, there's some shit going on, and not say there's some shit going on, but we're gonna need some help. There's some shit going on. We're going to need y'all to support us. There's some shit going on. We're going to need y'all to email. We're going to need y'all to get behind. We're going to need you to vote. We're going to need you to know, since we're saying it, since we're trying to do it, we need you to get with us. Grassroots is so real. And for everyone who's recognizing all the game that's being played, this got to be the best thing offered to you since sliced bread. Somebody trying, somebody with somewhat of a plan, which is, let's just start with pay attention. Let's just start with, vote when we can. This thing when they were talking about the nofox.com, come on, man. if someone's putting the word out for you to participate, and you sat at home one day like, why are they even a channel if they're not even news? Or at least they should change their channel from saying they're the news channel to Fox Info or whatever. But you can't be Fox News. So any stranger, and we would think, well, everyone might not know better because we know everyone doesn't know better. But if they don't see you even as offered as news, they can't hear your lie.
Yeah.
If we're gonna still allow you to lie.
Yeah. It's been a whole lot of debate about commentary about lying on this. It's been a whole bunch of bullshit. I mean, it's been a whole bunch of bullshit.
It's the new.
So please, going back to what Hex was saying, please participate. Please understand that you can't just kind of do this thing. Like, you can't just kind of be like, oh, that sounds good. You actually have to research these people and figure out what's going on, because the fate of the country is at stake. We up on it. Wonderful show. Hex, shout outs.
First, when you hear this show and you hear topics that are discussed more than once, recognize this because the issue hasn't been fixed. There's more meat on the bone that has to be eaten. There's more to the topic that needs to be discussed so that more minds are engaged, or more minds are encouraged to even hear what's being said, share their own thoughts with us, emailing us. Again, email us at
info@udkpodcast.com.
By doing that, I always say the dialogue is the problem. We don't have real dialogue. It is, you're wrong, and there's another show over here that says I'm right and you're wrong, and so that's all. Those are your options, and then it's up for, and they leave it for it to be like, well, it's up for you to kind of discern. And unfortunately, if you don't have a teacher, you can't learn. The self-help, only by myself, I can, someone, yes, can teach themselves Spanish without a teacher. Someone. But most of us can't. And the most of us make up this country. And that's why we do need conversation, dialogue, progress, and opportunity to indulge in finding out ways to do it. To shout out to those who support UDK. Shout out to those who, again, understand conversation and dialogue is the only way we're going to really make progress. And then, more importantly, shout out to my family. Shout out to my daughter and her art show.
Yeah.
And shout out to my nephew once again. Graduating. Shout out to my other nephew. Got his his associates doing this thing with his JUCO, trying to play ball.
Absolutely.
And just shout out to y'all, man.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Love. JR. I'm sorry. Irv. Shout out.
It's a light skin thing, man.
No, because I already you know what it is. Because I feel something.
His essence
bubbling. Yeah. I can feel it. I swear to God. I can feel it.
Hey, that must be just my energy.
Shout out to DJ Thunder Powerhouse Radio. Gotta shout out my Urbanators, man. Much love to the family. Gotta shout out my Dirtbags, man. It's the season for the and the reason.
Yes,
it's about that time.
Crank it up.
I'm going soon.
Gotta shout out to all the moms, man. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
Blessed
Happy
and beautiful
Mother's
to
Day.
all of y'all, man.
Yes. KG, shout out.
Shout out to the moms. Thank you for getting us here and for helping us along the way. Thank you to all of the listeners of UDK. We are working hard to provide you with the best information we can. Don't forget to look into our Discord and when you see it, so you can also follow up on these stories. Get some of the lists of things that we're going over. We also show the music that's being played, so there's representation there as well. Just keep your eyes open, keep your head up. Make sure you're looking at, because we tend to bear negative sometimes on some of these things because we're trying to bring light to things that people aren't hearing all the time. It's not because there aren't positive things that are going on. It's not because people aren't doing amazing things around the world or even in America, on both sides. That's not to say they're good people on both sides. But just making the point that it's important that you bring some balance to your life. Listen to the good, listen to the bad. Make sure you figure out what's going on around you and what you're responsible for, because you're responsible for all the actions and inactions that you go through every single day and week, and it adds up. That's it.
Yes. Now, JR.
Should have called him Herb.
Shout out.
I'm just gonna kind of piggyback off what KG is saying and what Hex is saying, and that's the idea that just don't fall for nothing. I mean, just don't sit back here and just allow it to say, oh, it's always been like this. There was a certain amount of respect we had for each other in this country that's being lost. Now, whether or not we disagree, whether or not we had opposition, we've always had that. But there was a decorum. There was a way in which we answered questions, even if people say that people were just being what's the word I'm looking for, diplomatic in their approach or whatever. And people will say, hey, well, at least this guy's he's keeping it 100, he's keeping it real. But at the end of the day, there's a way we go about business in this country. And I think when you're trying to fight for something, you're trying to hold on, if it wasn't something worth keeping, we wouldn't be talking about it. And I think we're getting away from some of those basic general respects in this country. And I think we really got to continue to hold on. And that's kind of what I wanted to say, Jay.
Yeah. Shout out to anybody who has ever listened to this podcast. Shout out to anybody listening to this podcast. Shout out to anybody who will listen to this podcast. Bookmark it, save for later. Like, oh shit, this shit is dope. Send somebody, oh shit, this shit is dope. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all, and we're gonna do this again next week. Shout out to the mom. Shout out to the mothers. Shout out to y'all. We love y'all, and none of us would be here without one of y'all. Hex, give me one.
UDK.
Loving you was supposed to come easy, but it's so hard.